Let's do it. Ooh, Gears of War 3. Now that was a good game. Fable 2. Alan Wake. Nice. I'm trying to remember what Too Human is.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed
Too
support and
Human.
guidance
That
from
sounds
others,
familiar, but I
so
can't
the
think of
thought
it.
of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Don't worry, this, I think, is the last time I'm going through this door.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've
We'll
gotten
find
off
out.
on the wrong foot
Too Human
here.
is the third person.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
That sounds
There's
pretty
someone
dope,
you've been
if I'm being
neglecting,
honest.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Oh, the 360. God. I think... Would have been on... Yeah. One of my... First game I ever played was, Halo. The first one.
This is it, Stanley.
And then... just... Halo Reach is one of my favorite games ever. Just... I love it. It is so good. Haven't played it in years, but it was just my favorite.
You need to be the one to do this.
Okay.
To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I did it. Right.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I don't want to.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
I love the voice. You're in my story now.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Wait a second. Hey, I have the same name as Stanley. Well, wife, let's press number 4. Nope, that's 5. And that's 3. Wait, what if I do...
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
That's pretty cool. Was that always like...
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating
that is
lunch.
my wife.
Now he's going home.
I got enough rings, I can give one to them.
One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Ooh. Press 1? Do I want to press 1? Or do I want to spend eternity here with my mannequin wife? What should I name my wife? Well, maybe it should just be mannequin wife so I don't have to name them.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of
who doesn't have a photo of their boss's office in their
fantastic
home?
Discoveries of new
Or is that just me?
It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it
Might
would
just be
ever
me.
happen to him.
Press. I'm guessing that's a TV.
And so he began to fantasize
Oh.
about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Is this place going to become my office?
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous
honey,
round
the
room
kitchen
with
disappeared.
monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
We get to tell our kids the story of the Stanley Parable. Though, admittedly, I have been looking for bread. It is most definitely stale now.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
I have a really sad feeling about this. I love you.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
I'm glad that I was able to predict this is going to happen.
Tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I just lost my wife. My kids. I think I had kids. I was telling them about my stuff. I lost my kitchen. This game is brutal. Press F to pay. Bloody yes. Or I like the alphabet, so. I guess I do. Like, there's my bed. Let's do it.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Do you see what I see staring out through the window?
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
Thank you.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time you'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Okay, I thought I broke the game again. I need to actually find out if I actually broke the game that other time.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You know what? I'm going to go to the meeting room. Yeah, this is the first time I'm not going to see.
A set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
It is quite a sad ending. Like, out of all of the endings, that one is probably the saddest.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave
Who
of
moved my
disbelief,
desk? Probably
Stanley
me.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh. Ooh. I keep doing this because I love seeing how the rooms just look different. Oh, what does this say? Stripes. Ah. Very important. Very important indeed. Or not. God, there's so many things in here. Ah! Okay. Let's continue. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. I'm gonna follow the rules. Okay. Oh. The door is locked. Huh. No one's here.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Why
What
am
he
I
could
seeing
not have
a
known
small...
was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh no. I've done it again. Oh no. Oh, this is making me slightly think of Half-Life. Just for some reason, it's giving me that reminder. It's not...
Descending deeper
Get Chris out. No, we're keeping Chris in there.
It was a stirring of
Don't
emotion
argue
in
with
his
me,
chest,
otherwise I will
as though
put
he
you
felt
in there
more
as well.
free to think for
I will
himself,
do it.
to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh, excuse me. This place... The
lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Wait a secary-do here. Is this the place that I came in earlier? That explains it.
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true nature.
Okay, yeah, I
Each
remember
bore
this
the
place.
number of an employee in the building.
Deja vu.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh. Ooh, I think I bit my cheek somehow before.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I guess so.
No. He refused to believe it. He
Oh.
couldn't accept it.
I will
own
not
life
accept
in
it.
someone else's control? Never.
Never.
It was unthinkable.
Yes, it is unthinkable.
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Very possible.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
What?
For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Now, Lane. This, button right here. Is this the one you were, perhaps telling me about before? Because you know what you do when you see a red button. Oh, I can't press it. I am wrong. I am so sorry. I am going to walk away awkwardly. Yeah, none of you saw that. Does anybody else get the Incredibles feeling here? When Bob just walks down the hall into the room with the massive thing. Anyone else getting those
And when at
vibes?
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood
Oh.
for.
Something just came and alerted me. Let's see what it is. Oh god. Maybe. Oh, raiding party. Just... Hey, it's not... I don't mind if it's just you. You're perfect. Anything medium rare. That's a very long name and I'm surprised I was able to say it.
Oh,
I
Stanley,
feel like I made the
you
wrong
didn't just
decision
activate the
by
controls,
accident.
did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yes.
Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
I
I'm afraid
have.
you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent,
Well done.
Stanley suddenly realized he had just
What can
initiated
I
the
say?
network's
What can I
emergency
say?
detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
Ah.
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the
Hey,
bomb
there's
goes
one.
off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times,
Where's the
I
number
let the office sink
4?
into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see
This
it
probably
go.
isn't going to do anything at all.
I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Okay.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being burned to pieces.
Okay.
Will you cling desperately
I
to
think
your
I
friend
pressed
life,
every
or
button.
will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Just elevator music playing on in the background. Much focus, indeed. Indeedy doody dandy. Wait. Can't hold it back anymore.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Have
Stanley
I...
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, I guess I haven't done it that way yet. Wait a second. This game never ends.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The game never ends.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Don't get
Feeling
fired.
a wave
Okay.
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
Oh no,
His
I'm in a
boss
loop
would think he
again.
was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
Oh.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
It's possible.
None of it made any logical sense.
It
And
could
as
have
Stanley
happened.
pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
I
Why
said
did
this
doors
before.
close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone.
Nope.
He wasn't going
They
to
say to
lose his
pinch
job.
yourself when
He
you're
wasn't
dreaming,
crazy
right?
after all. and he thought
think
to
that's what
himself,
they say.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still
Pinching
lucid.
myself here.
So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh!
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley
Oh, come on, I want to keep flying. Please, that was so
Was
cool.
he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing
everyone else have a voice in their head
considered
as
by
well?
Stanley, who found
Check
it
your watch.
particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice
I
describing
don't have
me,
a watch.
thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And
what?
while he thought it all
Spin.
very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
James, what are you talking about?
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Oh, I'm slow.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
I need to rewatch that
He knew
movie.
for certain, beyond a doubt, that this
I'm
was
surprised
in fact
you've
a dream.
seen it.
Did the voice not see him
Because
float
there's
and
so
make the
many
magical
movies you
stars
haven't
just a
seen.
moment
You have
ago?
to see
How
more
else would the voice
movies.
explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove
Is
it.
the narrator
He would prove
secretly
that he was
Stanley?
in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Pretty
I
please,
want my
boo woo.
apartment and my wife
Oh god.
and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
No, I'm far
Everything will
from
be
normal.
fine. I am okay.
I am. Nope, I'm not. I am not.
Stanley began
Oh
screaming.
shit.
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Ah!
And everything went black.
Let me just.
This is the story of a
There we
woman
go.
named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed,
do have
gathered her
lipstick, I think,
belongings, and walked
somewhere.
to her place of work. But on this particular day,
Oh.
her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think
Whatever.
this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her
I have
feel
watched
better.
Inception.
But then she remembered the meeting.
I'm
she
just
had
saying I should
scheduled for
rewatch
that
it again
day.
at some point.
The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
So is that the true ending or... Right. Nope, this looks wrong. This looks wrong. This doesn't look right. What have they done? What have I done? I don't like this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This looks wrong. Get to the door.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge.
I'm just wondering, have I done...
Stanley thought to himself, what a room, what a room, what a room. But eager to get back to business,
Have I done everything,
Stanley
or
took the first
am I
open door
missing
on his
something?
left.
Trying to think, what else have I done? Is there anything else I can do? Oh wait, I still have to say
And so
no
he detoured through the maintenance
to the
section,
brainwashing
walked
thing. I'll
straight
do
ahead
that
to the
as my
opposite door, and got back on track.
last ditch effort. I'll do that and then I'll, I think I'll call it quits.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a
Talk
wave
less.
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
unbelievably
up to his
amazing work
boss's
all the
office,
time that they-
hoping he might find an answer there.
Yes. You got relocated. Ah, relocated, of course.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yawn.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Oh, those are nice plates.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. "2845. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Oh wait, that's right. Is the 888 an actual thing that I would have to do beforehand?
8.
I got an achievement! Okay, thank you. Hey! I got... oh, okay. 8. Esports. Wait. E. Yeah. Wow, this
Stanley walked
place
straight
looks
ahead through the
familiar.
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Was that here last time, or did I just absolutely miss it? Did I? Did I just ignore this completely, or has that always been there?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, nice.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yep. But, joke's on you, I'm walking backwards. Oh. I wonder what it looked like. Legs of steel, I tell you. Legs of steel.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise,
Ooh, nice.
his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Nice.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single
Give me
visceral
death.
instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone.
I
in
will
his
either
body,
achieve death or
killing him
glory.
instantly.
Most likely death, but... Oh.